Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Code Mind. Today we will discuss some top programming questions in C language as many of you had requested, so this is only for you. Previously I made one more video on coding questions in C languages. That video contained some top programming questions which are frequently asked in many campus drives. I will put the link in the description box. Please check out that video because that video will really help you a lot in campus preparation. So let's just start with today's PPT. So our first question is write a C program to convert decimal number to binary and print the count of ones in it. If ones are not present in a binary number, then print invalid input. So see what's the question is telling. We need to give the decimal number, means from the keyboard we will give the decimal number. Decimal number is in the form of like this 134, 162 or 148 or 8 or 1, like this. These are the decimal numbers. So we need to convert this decimal number into a binary number. Binary number are in the form of 110001, means only in the form of 0 and 1. Those are called binary numbers. So we need to convert and we need to check out the number of ones in that binary number. For example, 134 is our decimal number. So what will be its binary number? So how we convert decimal to binary? First we write 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 32, 64, 128. Okay. So what is 128? So we will take 128 as a 1, 64 with 0, 0, 0, 0. 128 plus 4 will be 132, 132 plus 2 will be 134 and 0. So this is the binary number for the 134 as a decimal number. So in this way we will convert it to the binary number. So in this binary number we need to count the number of ones present in the binary number, that is 1, 2, 3. So our output is 3 in this case. Okay, our output is 3. So how we converted, you got my point. And if there is no one, for example, if instead of given the input 134, if we had given the input is 4, so how we will convert 1 to 4? Up to how much? Less than that we write it. So 1 0 0, here also 1 comes, so our output is 1. For example, if we have given the sample input as 0, so its binary is also 0. If the decimal is 0, 0 is also a decimal, so its binary is 0. So here there is no ones in this binary number, so we will print the output as 0 in this case. Sorry, not a 0, but we will print the invalid input. Invalid input means 0 or -1, that's the same meaning, but we will print the invalid input if there is no one present in the binary form. Okay, so hope you understood the question. Now we will go with the solution, how we can proceed with this question. So first we will include all the header files, then our execution is start with the main. So we'll start it. What we are declaring as an integer, we have taken n. N is for the decimal number. Then bin is equals to 0. This bin will take the number of like binaries values of this particular decimal number. Then reminder, we are taking one variable, that is reminder. Another variable we are taking f, which is equals to 1, and another variable which we are taking is as a count, we will take it here. Count, which is equals to 0. Count will count the number of ones in the binary. So our first one is to scanf, that is %d %n. We will take the decimal number from the keyboard. For that we have taken the scanf. Excuse me. 134 is our input in this case. Okay. Now while n is greater than 0, so n is greater than 0, for up to that much we will take the loop. Loop is ending here only, so no problem, we don't need to go to the next next page of the PPT. So up to this much only. So this loop will run up to the n value is greater than 0. So first we are taking rem is equals to n mod 2. So modulus operator will gives you the remainder. So 134 mod 2. If we do 134 mod 2, what will be our remainder? So divided by 2. 2 6 are 12, 1 are 14, 2 7 are 14. So in this case our remainder is 0. So remainder contains the value 0 after dividing with 2, which gives us the modulus operator will gives us the remainder. Division operator, in division what will be our remainder? That is the remainder contains. If remainder is equals to 1, do we remainder have 1? No. So it will not go into this loop. Okay. Now bin is equals to bin plus remainder into f. So f is equals to 1. 1 into 0 is 0. So this whole is 0. Bin is already 0. Bin is initialized with 0. So 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. So bin now contains 0 value only. F is equals to f into 10, that is 1 into 10, that contains the 10 value. Fine. N is equals to n divided by 2. So n is now n divided by 2. This operator will gives you the quotient value. What's our quotient? So 134. So 2 6 are 12 and 1 14, 2 7 are 14. So 67 will be our quotient. Okay. Again we will go with back to the loop. This loop. What it is saying, see here. Is 167 is greater than 0? Yes, condition is true. Again we will find the remainder. Remainder n mod 2. In this case now we will get the remainder as 1. If remainder is equals to 1, yes, this condition is true. So it will go inside this loop, if loop. Not loop, if condition. So count will be incremented to 1. It had incremented one time, so count will be incremented to 1. Now bin is equals to bin plus remainder into f. Now remainder is 1 and f is 10. 10 into 1 is 10. Now this part contains the value 10. 10 plus remainder, that is 0. So 10 plus 0 is 10. So bin contains the value of 10. F is equals to f into 10. So 10 into 10 is equals to 100. Now f contains the 100 value. N equals to n divided by 2. Now 67 divided by 2. What this quotient gives us? 2 3s are 6 and 2 3s are 6. So 1 is the remainder we had already taken. So 33. In this we will not take the 0.5 or any decimal value because n we have declared it as an integer. So we will take only the integer value. Now again we will go and check it here that n is greater than 0, 33 is greater than 0. Yes, condition satisfied. Again we will go in remainder n mod 2. So 2 1 are 2 and 1 and 13, 2 6 are 12. Again the remainder is your 1. When the remainder is 1, again the count will be incremented. So count will increment to 2. Now bin is equals to bin plus remainder into f. So what is bin? Now bin contains 10 plus remainder into f. So remainder is 1. 1 into 100 is 100. 100 plus 10 is equals to 110. Okay. F equals to f into 10. Again it is multiplied with 10. So it becomes the 1000. Now n is equals to n divided by 2. When it is divided, what will be our quotient? 2 1 ja 2. 1 13, 2 6 are 12. 16 will be our answer. Now 16 is greater than 0. Yes. Again 16 is greater than 0. Remainder n mod 2. 2 8 is 16. So completely divisible. So remainder is 0. When remainder is 0, we don't need to increment the count value. So we don't need to increment the count value. We will come to the bin equals to bin plus remainder into f. But remainder is 0 into 1000. That will be 0. So bin will be the same as it is the previous one. F equals to f into 10. Again it is multiplied with the 10. So it contains the 10,000. Okay. Now n equals to n divided by 2 means 2 8 is 16. So 8 again it will come back here and check 8 is greater than 0. Yes, 8 is greater than 0. When 8 is greater than 0, again it will go inside the loop n mod 2. So remainder is again your 0 only. Why 0 only remainder? Because 2 mod 8 mod 2, that is the completely divisible. So remainder is 0. Is remainder equals to 1? No. So count will not be incremented and it will come to bin is equals to bin plus remainder into f. So remainder is 0, 0 into 10,000 will be 0. So bin will be same as it is the previous value it returned, 1, that is 110. F equals to f into 10. Again it will multiply it with the 10. So 10,000 into 10, what will be? That is 1 lakh. 1 lakh will be there. N equals to n divided by 2 means it will be 4. Same it will go in here. 4 is greater than 0. Remainder equals to n mod 2. So yes, remainder is again your 0 only. When the remainder is 0 only, when the remainder is your 0 only, when remainder is again 0, count will not be incremented. Bin equals to bin plus remainder into f. So remainder into f, so 0 into, that is 1 lakh will be your 0 only, and bin will retain its value to 110. F equals to f into 10, again it will multiply it with the 10, so it will become 10 lakh. Okay, 10 lakh. N equals to n divided by 2, that will be your 2. 2 is greater than 0. Remainder is again your 0 only. Is the remainder equals to 1? No. So count will not be incremented. Bin equals to bin plus remainder into f. Remainder is 0 into 10 lakh. That will be 0 only. So bin will retain its value to 110 only. Now f is equals to f into 10. Now again it will be multiplied with the 10. So its value will be your this one. 100, again 00 and 000. Fine. Now n equals to n divided by 2. 2 divided by 2, n is equals to 1. Now see here. 1 is greater than 0. Yes, condition satisfied. Remainder 1 mod by 2, that is your 1. So now the remainder contains the 1. Again the remainder. When remainder equals to 1, so count will be incremented. Count will be incremented to 3. When count will be incremented to 3, bin equals to bin plus remainder into f. So f is this much, remainder that is multiplied with 1, so it will be this much plus bin. So remainder is your 1 000 000 in triple in down the 000 it is added with 110 that will be contained in the f. Now n divided by 2, so now n contains the 0. 1 divided by 2, that is the 0 value. Now again it will go here. Is 0 greater than 0? No. Condition false, it will comes out of this loop. So final value of C is your 3. Final value of n is equals to 0. Final value of f, which is very important, 100 00. Instead of a 000, we have this one. Same thing, if you remember, we have 1 2 4 8 16 32 64 128, and we have written 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 0. In the same way, what we have binary number, so this contains the binary number of the this decimal number what we have initially, that is 134. This is the binary number. So if the question had asked like this also, give me the binary representation of this decimal number, you can give the binary decimal, because our code is giving that also, which is present in the variable f. Same thing what we have got it here, we are getting it here. Okay, so our final value of C is your 3. F is equals to, which is the binary value of the decimal number, 100000110. This is the binary number, and we calculated the number of ones in this binary number, which is 3. So C is equals to 3. So what we need to print it here, we need to print the number of ones, that is if the number of ones are present then okay, if not then we need to print the invalid number. So same thing here, if count is greater than 0, if count is greater than 0, that is 3 is greater than 0, print the count. So our output is 3. Else what we will print? We will print the invalid number and we will return 0. Why return 0? Because initially we have taken the int as a int. in our main. If we have taken void main, then no need to return anything, but we have taken integer, so we need to return 0. Hope you understood this question. Next question. It's a simple pattern based printing question. See here, we have given the 4, so up to 4 row we want it, and we want in the incrementing fashion, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. In this fashion we want. So what we have taken the header files here. Int main we have taken, and we have taken I, j and r. After proceeding, we got to know why we had taken these many variables. Okay, so first we have taken the 4, that is r. Number of rows we want to print, so r contains the 4. Okay, I loop will run from 0 to less than r, means up to number of rows, 0th row, 1th row, 2nd row and 3rd row. So I will run iterate from 0 to number of rows 1 less. Okay, j will run for the number of columns. So number of columns are depending upon the I value. As you can see that if the first row means 0th row, it is only one time, it has printed only one column. For the first row, it has printed 2 columns. For the third row, it had printed the 3 columns. Or second row, if we have taken index from 0, then this is the second, or if we have taken from 1, it will be a third. So up to j will start from the 0, and it will go to less than j is less than equals to I. So in first case, j is 0, I is also 0, so 0 is less than equals to 0, yes, so it will print only one time. Here we have taken count equals to 0, that's why we are first incrementing the count and then we are printing the count value. If we have taken count instead of a 0 and 1, so here we will not increment the count, first we will print the count, then we have incremented the count as a count equals to count plus 1. Okay, so I we have taken for the number of rows, j we have taken for the number of columns, and based on that we have given the conditions and we had printed the count value. Count equals to 0 here, so first count is incremented, then count is printed. After completing this particular row, that is after completing this row, then we are printing the new line to commit here. After printing all these, we are completed, so we are coming to the next row, so that's why they printed the next new line. Okay, next question. This is little difficult question, as might be you will not get in one shot. That's why I have given the comments in means like in this program I had given comments, so that if you read by yourself also you might get understand. But this is little bit tricky questions. I found it good question, that's why I put it in this ppt. Hope you will get in this once time or one shot. Let's see what the question is trying to tell here. We have given a matrix like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18, like this kind matrix is given, but we need to print it in the spiral format. So what is a spiral format? So spiral format is printing in this way, is called the spiral format. So in this question we are taking the 3 rows and 6 columns and we are printing it in the spiral format. These types of questions are called a spiral, printing in the spiral format. Spiral format, bear it with my handwriting. So this is the output what we have want. 1 2 3 4 5 6 12 12 18 17 16 15 14 13 7 8 9 10 11. So you got the questions, what the questions is saying, what is the input we are taking and what is the output we want from that question. So see here, this is our solution. I had given the comments for better understanding of this question. So first we have included the header files, and then we have defined, has defined r is equals to 3 and has defined c equals to 6. We don't want to define, we want to take it from the keyboard, no problem, we can take it, but I want to just define it to make it more simpler for you. So our execution start from the main function, so we will go to the main function. In the main function, we have taken the array of the number of rows, that is 3, and number of column, that is 6. So row we have taken 3 and column we have taken 6, and we have defined the array A. Same what we are passing to this spiral print function. Number of rows 3, number of column 6, and array is, this one is the array what we are passing. So now we will come to this function. Now M contains the number of rows, that is 3 rows, N contains the number of columns, that is 6, and A of RC contains the array. Okay, listen to me very carefully. Here we have defined the 4 variables. Already M and N are defined. We have defined extra K is equals to N and L is equals to 0. So what is K equals to 0? So K is equals to 0 is the first index, and L is equals to 0 is the last column index. See here, K is equals to first starting row index, M is equals to ending row index, L is equals to starting column index, N is equals to ending column index. I will show you with this one. See, this is your kth index, this is your kth index, and this is your m row. Okay, so m is equals to 3, k is equals to 0. So this is 0th index, this is first index, and this is second index. Okay, now this is your L, this is your N, this column is your N column, which is your 6. Okay, this column is your L column, which is your 5. So this column is particularly this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are the indices of the column. So first column is your L, last column is your N. N value we have taken 6, M value we have taken 3. K is your first row index, M is your last row index. Okay. So what it is telling? So first we need to print here this row, this complete row we want to print. This complete row we want to print. This complete row we want to print. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This complete row we want to print. So for printing this complete row, what we are doing is we are taking the for loop. Okay, k is equals to 0, k will be your 0, L to be incremented, from L to be incremented. Okay, and we will print the array of k, that is 0th index, and the value of I. I will run from L to N. Okay, see here the condition. While k is less than m, we have not taken any extra variable like k is less than m, while the first row index is less than the last row index, that is m, and L is less than n. So we will print the, and after this one we have taken the for loop index. So this is for the whole printing. The first outer loop what we are taking, the first outer loop is taking for printing the whole array in this format, the whole array in this format. So for first one we have taken the I, check it here, we have taken I is equals to L, I is less than n, I plus plus or plus plus I, and we are printing A of k of I. Same, we are printing it here also, A of k of I. So we had printed up to here, we have printed up to here. This is particularly printed for us. Okay, now we want to print this particular 12. We want to print this particular 12. So to printing that particular 12, what we are going, we had incremented the k value. We have incremented the k value, means in the previous one the k value is pointing to the 0th index. Now the k value will be point to the first index. Okay, k value is pointing to 0th index. So we had printed up to here, we need to print the 12. Okay, we need to print the 12. Kth index is pointing here, now the kth index is pointing here. Now this is the kth index, still the n is pointing to be here only. Okay, So kth index, we had incremented the kth value. Now see, we have done with this. Now we need to print the last column for the remaining columns. Okay, last column we have to print. So for I is equals to k, I is less than m, I plus plus. So we have started with the second row and we have taken up to how much it is less than m and I plus plus. So printing a of I to n minus I. This we are printing a of I to n minus I. N is what? 6 minus 1, that is 5. That will be the fifth column and I value is starting with the k. So k is your second, that second row, that is first one. So first row and fifth column we are printing this value, first row and fifth column. So this is the zeroth row, this is the zeroth row, this is the first row. So first row and fifth column, 0 1 2 3 4 5. So zeroth row and fifth column we had printed the 12. So we are done with the 12. Now we need to print this in the reverse order. So from last column we need to print the up to first column. That will be 18, 16, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14 and 13. Up to this we need to print. So for that one we are having, we had decremented the value of n. We have decremented the value of n. See here, we have decremented the value of n. Now n is pointing here. Okay, so we have n is equals to 6, so we want to print it from here because we have already print, just a minute, I think I minus 1, yeah. So I is equals to k, I is less than m and I plus plus. So k and k is incremented to, in this case we had printed only the 18th, yeah. And here if k is less than m, if k is less than m, that is k is less than m, yeah, condition is satisfied, that is k is less than m. I is equals to n minus 1, 6 minus 1. So here this n minus minus, that is we are printing the last row from the remaining rows. So n is equals to 6 minus 1, that is fifth row. We are printing I is greater than equals to 1. Sorry, I is greater than equals to L. So L is your first column, up to first column, and I is decremented and we are printing this one. So this will print the last row from last column to first column. Okay, last row from the last column to the first column, and then we had decremented the value of M. Okay, and then we are printing the first column from the remaining columns. Means now we need to print this one and then we will print this one. Now we need to print this one and then we will print all these things. Okay, this we will print. So for printing this one we have the last condition is that if L is less than n, that is the first column is less than the last column, we are printing the a of I comma L, and I is starting from m minus 1, that is m is 3 third, or it is 3 but it is decremented, so it is 2, 2 minus 1, that is 1 first row. So it will be printing in this format. So when you will take this whole program in the copy or in the laptop or in the IDLE, and when you trace by yourself by taking the pen and pencil in your rough page, then definitely you will get this question because it is little tricky, so might you will not get understood in one shot. So try by yourself, definitely you will get. Next question. This is very easy question, last question. We need to find the GCD of the two numbers. In this question you can also ask GCD of 3 numbers, 4 numbers. So in this question you will check out the GCD of two numbers. So if the two numbers is given 12 and 24, the GCD of 12 and 24 is 12. I think everyone knows how to find the GCD of a number, so I'm not explaining that one, and we will directly jump to the question. So our first question, so our questions how the solution will be. We have taken the header file int main. We will take the two numbers n1 and n2, same scanf n1 and n2. n1 will contain 12 and n2 will contain the 24. So for I equals to 1, I will be less than, so I is iterator which is running from 1 up to, what is the condition? I should be less than equals to 12. In the same way, I should be less than equals to this one. So I should run from 1 to 12 only. I will run from 1 to 12 only, which is the lowest one, because if this and is there, so if any of the condition is false, then it will stop iterating there only. Why we have taken the both one? Because we don't know which one is smaller, n1 or n2. Whatever whose is smaller, up to that one only I will be iterated. So I is iterating up to there. So if n1 is mod I is equals to 0, or n2 mod I is equals to 0, and both, so I should be run from 1 to 12 in this case, and it should be divisible from both that n1 and n2. Like 1 is divisible from 12 and 24, 2 is divisible from both. So this same I will be given assigned to GCD. GCD, like GCD first is assigned 1, then 2, then 3, 12 and 24 both are divisible by 3. So 3 will also be given to GCD. 4 is divisible, 4 is also divisible, like 12 and 24 both are divisible by 4. So GCD is assigned to 4. In this way it will run up to 12. So is 12 and 24 both are divisible by 12? Yes. So 12 will be our GCD output. GCD contains now the 12. Now I will be incremented to 13. Now 13 is less than 12. Condition is false. When the condition is first time false, it will not check for the second condition in AND case. If it is OR case, then it will check the second condition, but it's an AND case, it will not go for the second condition, and it will comes out of the loop and print GCD of first number, that is 12, and second number, that is 24, is 12 is the output, and then we will return the 0 for the int. Hope you got the question. Thank you. That's all for today. Please like the video if you found it useful, and share with your friend, as the more knowledge you spread, the more knowledge you will gain. And finally, subscribe to my channel to get the latest notification.